There we are, 120 Dungeoneering, 96 million XP to go. Tom Baskin began Fresh Start Worlds with one goal in mind: climb through the high scores to obtain a top rank in Dungeoneering and secure a Challenger Halo. Last episode, he achieved 80 smithing and unlocked Invention, allowing him to craft the Dungeoneering outfit. With the outfit, it was possible to get well over 5 million XP per hour, but that was only the start. Now we're 120 Dungeoneering, but that's still far from safely securing a top 100 spot. Even at 120 million XP, I'm barely in the top ranks. I need to find a better plan. Last episode, we discussed tokens and cards. At this point, most players had figured out a version of that method. What they hadn't figured out was the value of 5-1 larges. I touched on this method briefly in episode 2, but never explained its full potential. 5-1 floors are floors with 4 DGers and 1 level 3 alt. Instead of selecting a party size of 5 like you do normally, you set the difficulty to 1 person. This makes every monster level 3 and all critical doors level 1, making the dungeon very easy to complete. The downside is it decreases the floor XP, but only so much. Let's take a look at it. The experience you get from a floor depends on many factors. The biggest component is the base XP. Base XP is calculated as the average of that specific floor XP and your overall prestige XP. The prestige number comes from either your previous or current prestige, whichever is higher, and it's why you need to complete all of your floors before you reset. If you do a floor from a theme you've already completed, then the value for the prestige XP is set to 0. For example, in this floor, I had already completed all my warp floors, so the prestige XP was set to 0. You'll notice the difference between the base XP for a 5-1 and 5-5 floor is only about 4%. This doesn't have a huge effect on the final XP. What does matter is the floor modifiers. If you look closely, you'll see that a difficulty modifier is -20% for 5-1 and +20% for 5-5. That's a massive difference and would make 5-1 useless, except for the next modifier, level mod. Level mod is based on how many monsters and resources are cleared during a floor. It caps at +10% and is typically around -10% for a normally completed floor. Because you're doing 5-1 floors with a level 3, all of the monsters scale to level 3 difficulty, which makes them one-hittable. This is how we made the 5-1 strategy viable. Every time we entered a new room, we would quickly kill every monster in it while running to the next room. This hardly slows down the floor, and it boosts your level mod from -10% to +10%. When all the calculations go through, this sets 5-1 at about 20% less XP than 5-5, assuming you properly clear monsters. Your chance of death goes to basically 0 while doing 5-1, and there's a lot less thought that needs to go into clearing floors, so it makes it easier to finish a large number of floors in a row. Additionally, the guardian rooms are much faster than 5-5 floors, which saves you a ton of time. Based on a large sample size of floors, 5-1 floors were approximately 25 to 30% faster for top-tier DGers compared to 5-5 floors. When you look at inexperienced DGers who have slower DPS, that number gets even bigger. It's not all perfect though. One consideration we had to look at was token consumption rates with cards. As we discussed before, it's possible to team card every single occult and warp floor with a group of 5 high-level DGers and never run out of tokens. When you're doing 5-1 floors, you get about 20% less tokens. So was this still viable? The short answer is, sort of. With 5 players full carding every single floor, you need to get a base amount of 13k tokens per floor on average, which are then doubled by your mosquito card. When you add in C6 rushes, that can be comfortably sustained by a group of level 120 players. With 5-1 floors, you don't quite hit enough tokens to do that. There are a few options. The easiest tactic is to only token card your lowest occult floors because both Bunyip and Mosquitoes work as token cards, meaning you can have twice the number of token cards compared to XP cards so it can burn extras. This is an okay fix, but it will net you lower XP rates. Another option is to do your very highest floors as 5-5 instead of 5-1. Your highest floors give the highest XP and tokens, so swapping them to 5-5 is slightly better from a token sustaining perspective. You can also token card your higher rush floors to get a small boost. Based on these findings, the best floor combination looks something like this. Token skip floors 1 to 10. That'll take no time and cost about 40k tokens. Then do a C6 guide mode rush from floors 11 to 35 with token cards. That'll take about 30 minutes and give you about 300k base XP and 60k tokens with those cards. Then, from floors 36 to 51, do 5-1 larges with a full card set. That'll take about 1 hour, give 1.6 mil base XP and 320k tokens. Finally, from floors 52 to 60, we'll do 5-5 larges with another full card set. That'll also take about 1 hour and give you 1.4 mil base XP and 280k tokens. In the end, that comes out to just under 13k tokens per floor, so it's pretty sustainable, and you'll also get 3.3 mil base XP in about 2.5 hours. It's important to note that this only works at level 120, and will need to be adjusted for lower levels. For lower levels, don't token card rushes and don't XP card your lower occults until you find a happy balance. Luckily, my group had surplus tokens, so we didn't need to worry too much about this, and carded everything. With the 2.5 times modifier, the method came out to over 10 million Dungeoneering XP per hour, including rushes. There is one catch to this method. You need 4 reliable friends to join you along the way. It's hard to find reliable friends in RuneScape these days. Luckily, I also don't have many friends and could use some help. Make sure to hit the subscribe button to join the team and learn exciting methods to grow your account while I grow my channel. I appreciate the support and can't wait to deliver more unique content in the future. So anyways, now I have the strategy set up to get the highest XP rates possible and blast ahead to secure my rank before the competition period ends. However, one important detail I've only glossed over so far is how to actually complete a Dungeoneering floor. If you've watched any of the World Cup matches recently, I'm sure you've picked up the basic strategy they deploy on the field. Players spread out and pass the ball back and forth until they get to their goal. Dungeoneering is weirdly similar to this. Each group has a captain, the leader of the team who holds the group gatestone. The job of this person is to follow the critical path to the boss. I made a guide on this, but it's an advanced topic that takes a lot of practice to really understand. Luckily, Jagex made a feature called Guide Mode that you can turn on to highlight the path on your map. If you're an inexperienced group, I suggest turning this on and taking a 5% XP hit in exchange for the critical path being highlighted. During the floor, the captain will carry the group gatestone down the critical path to the boss. The group gatestone is a rock that all team members can teleport to using their spellbook. Meanwhile, the teammates should do the exact opposite of the host. The role of the other 4 players is to open all of the other paths that show up on the map that aren't critical. The amount of players you want on each side path depends on how big it looks. If it's heading into a wall, it likely won't last long, so 1 player is fine. Otherwise, you'll usually want 2 players to take it on. When you're on a side path, complete all the rooms you can on it and gate any key blocks that occur. You gate a path by casting the Create Gatestone spell in your spellbook and dropping the stone it makes to the ground. You can teleport back to the spot using the personal Gatestone teleport in your spellbook. After that, teleport to the group Gatestone and help your leader continue pushing that path. If another side path shows up, complete it the same way you did your previous path. Make sure to finish your old path when the key you need shows up so you get your personal gatestone back and can use it on another side path. This is the most effective strategy to complete a floor. The hard part is coordinating it with your team to make sure all of the bonus paths are properly covered with gates. A good rule of thumb is that a gatestone can cover most doors within 4 rooms fairly well. Also, your home teleport spell works as a gatestone for all the rooms around base. When you encounter a key block in a bonus path and drop your gate, call it out so your team knows that you've got that door covered. If you're not using voice chat, a good method to do this is right-clicking the door and examining it to call the key door in the chat. That signals to your teammates that you've dropped a gate at the door. If you need to gate another door but don't have any gates left, let your teammates know so they can cover that door for you from one of their gates. Since gates can reasonably cover doors within 4 rooms, typically someone can run your door from nearby or vice versa. If that's not possible, then keep your old gate and have someone cover your new location instead. This is a complicated topic and requires more detail than I'll go into right now, but I'll create a guide in the future that should provide even more insight into how this works. For now, remember the basic strategy. The host follows the critical path that you can highlight with guide mode until they reach the boss. Meanwhile, the other party members take care of the side paths and gate any key blocks they encounter. Finally, there are a few important callouts between you and your teammates. The most important call to pay attention to is MGT. MGT stands for Move Group Teleport. When the host calls this and says someone's name, that means that person should drop a personal gatestone, teleport to the group gatestone, pick it up, teleport back to their location, and drop the group gatestone. This will allow other players to get to your location and help out. Other important calls to watch are things like GT levers, GT emotes, or GT portals. These calls mean come do levers, emotes, or portals with the team. Drop a gatestone where you are and teleport to the group to help with the puzzle. After the puzzle is done, you can head back to your old location. For puzzles, I suggest reading through the wiki to get an understanding of them. There aren't any outstanding guides on them yet, but I'll try to provide that resource in the future. Usually, you'll only want to save puzzle skips for emotes, barrels on the critical path, monos on the critical path, and ghosts on the critical path, as they really slow down the party. As the floor gets closer to completion, it's okay to use skips on faster puzzles too. With practice, Dungeoneering is actually one of the fastest skills in the game, and can be really enjoyable once you understand what to do. I suggest everyone try it out before writing it off as a treasure hunter lamp sink. I was absolutely blazing through floors now. We even got the world record for the fastest full 5-1 large in Fresh Start Worlds, a 2-minute, 59-second warp. The XP drops were piling up and my friends were knocking out 120s and 200 mils. I hit 150 million XP the day after 120 and saw the halo fast approaching. After another day and a half, Tom was almost there. Unfortunately, there was one race left. This time, it was a battle of wills, a battle of endurance, to see who could be the most patient. With ranks 1 to 66 locked in at 200 mil XP, it was between me, Herfinskill, and Miri to secure the coveted rank 69. Eventually, Herfinskill folded after trying to extort me for copious amounts of wealth, and it was between me and Miri. The next thing I knew, Spot 68 was claimed by Miri with no broadcast. I acted fast and purchased my final XP, a small token to end a massive journey. $200 mil was locked in. The Challenger Halo was mine. Rank 69, Tom Baskin. We did it. But my journey is far from over. I headed to Draenor and finished off 99 Divination. but couldn't buy the cape because I was out of GP. After securing some funds, I returned and began to pick up all my capes and tokens across the world. Magic, ranged, strength, hit points, divination, dungeoneering, Newton, Sparky, and Sifu. And finally, the Challenger Halo. I didn't stop here. Tom Baskin's ambitions have turned somewhere else, somewhere even greater. Those of you who follow me closely may have noticed my stats have continued to creep up after 200 mil dungeoneering. I even caved and trained defense. There's a striking similarity between my stats and those required for the quest cape. But that's a story for another series. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Thanks Jagex, and thank you all for watching. It's been a blast making this series, and I can't wait to see what happens next.